The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Another massive game from OG Anunoby. On both ends of the floor, coast to coast after the turnover, he goes for 28 points. The Knicks held Portland to only 35 points in the second half. Mikal Bridges also scored 28 points. And the Knicks, down by 14 in the third quarter, outscore the Blazers by 31 the rest of the way and win 110-93. Great to have you with us, Bill Pito, along with Alan Hahn. So on the night we celebrate Clyde Frazier's 80th birthday, and on the night that Jalen Brunson says it's realistic for him to return before the playoffs, the Knicks come back and end up trouncing the Blazers.
And it had to do with defense. It is something that you had to, we talked about it at halftime. The Knicks forced 7 turnovers the first half, only turned it into 5 points. They've been so good at doing that. Second half, another 7 turnovers, but this time 13 points. The turning point of this half was them holding this team to 35 points and also making sure that they got those turnovers and made them pay for them with those points off turnovers.
All right, so Portland scores only 35 in the second half. They scored only 15 in the fourth quarter. Knicks won the fourth quarter 31-15. They were up by 1 after 3 and then ended up dominating the final 12 minutes. The defense was stifling out.
Yeah, it's the steals. Josh Hart had 3 steals. OG Anunoby had 3 steals. But the key is that when they were turning the ball over, make them pay. There's another turnover. There's another Josh Hart steal. Josh Hart was all over the place, too. This was a great game for the 3 wing players on this team with OG Anunoby getting it started. Mikal Bridges got red hot in the second half and really got it going. And then Josh Hart doing everything that Josh Hart does, some defense, some rebounding, and obviously some scoring as well. This was it. They upped the energy. They upped the intensity. It's a fairly young team, and they couldn't handle it when the Knicks really turned it up. They dialed it up defensively. And, Bill, that's what you needed to see from this team. As Denny Avdija, there's a great shot there. He was tough to stop because he kept getting to his right hand. You saw that time they forced him to his left. He still made the shot. And here's the extra effort we're talking about from the wing players. They dialed it up, and it just shows you that when they play this hard, Bill, they can play defense at an elite level.
All right, so you see the numbers. Look at the bench points. Precious Achua had 10 points in the second quarter.
Shamet, too.
Shamet with a nice game. Shamet off the bench in this game off the bench had 11. He had 13 against the Bucks. And they won by 17, even though Karl-Anthony Towns scored only 10 points. Here now with Mikal Bridges. Mikal, great game. You guys were down by 14. From that point on, you outscored them by 31 points. How'd you do it?
Defensively. I think that's the biggest thing. And all of us just not playing good defense and not team defense as well. So I think we picked it up, got stops, and then we was flowing.
Another great game for you offensively with 28 points. You've been putting up huge numbers of late. What has led to your offensive consistency here in recent games?
Just trust my work and my teammates. I think, just let me play, get me involved, and try to make the right read. That's pretty much. It's just all credit to my teammates.
Congrats, Mikal. Thanks for stopping by. Great game.
Yeah, no, thank you, man.
Alan, without Brunson, Bridges in the 12 games averaging over 22 a game, and he went for 28 in this one.
Yeah, and how about a buzzer beater? Why not? Since the last time you saw Portland, he hit one. That was at the end of the first quarter. Of course, the biggest one was in overtime in Portland a couple of weeks ago. But it was the second half where he really got things going. And you just see when he's on the move, the most important thing is to find him when he's cutting. I love this little defensive play, too, by Bridges. A lot of perimeter defense that they had to adjust to in the second half. But with Bridges, the key has always been his activity and his movement. And he is excellent when it comes to cutting. He's also a guy that gets out quick when there's a turnover. He and Anunoby are so good at when there is a deflection or a turnover, one of them races out and they try to get quick points. When he gets into rhythm like that, Bill, that's when the shots start falling for him and he gets real comfortable and he becomes difficult to stop. This is an example of all the weapons the Knicks do have in this starting 5. And without Jalen Brunson, the question was who's going to make up the scoring? And as Tom Thibodeau said, it's not going to be one. It's going to take several. And you're seeing it right now.
Think about this. They won in Milwaukee on Friday, and Cat scored only 14.
Yeah.
Of course, no Brunson. Tonight, no Brunson. I mentioned Cat scored only 10, and they still put up 110 points.
Doc Rivers said after the game in Milwaukee the goal was just to stop Karl-Anthony Towns, take him out of the game. They weren't able to stop anybody else, and OG Anunoby was a big part of it. The same thing when you watched early in this game, what Portland was doing is Donovan Clingan was not guarding Towns. They had a wing on Towns, and Clingan, every time he touched the ball, would come over and double. So what do? Find the open man, and that's exactly what the Knicks started to do.
All right, so OG Anunoby, when you look at what he's doing on offense, you have to remember he's spending a lot of energy guarding the other player, the other team's best offensive player, and he's still scoring at this remarkable clip. This is 6 straight games with at least 20. He had 31 against the Bucks, and he had 28 in this one.
And again, he told us the other night it was about him just being aggressive, and he was aggressive from the start of this game. And he's looking at who's guarding him and saying to himself, I can beat this guy. He has developed the shot. You give him credit for watching film, not on just opponents, but on himself, and seeing what more can I do, what can I change. And some of it has simply been activity and being aggressive and looking to shoot. Some other things have been a move here or two that he's worked on, that he's talked about. But his defense has always been elite in the league. He'll be an all-defensive selection this season. And I just think he is such a difference maker at both ends of the floor. And as you mentioned, what's different about him compared to a lot of players doing it on both ends of the floor at a high level? Conditioning. He's in incredible shape right now.
Think about all he's doing on both ends of the floor. Just been incredible here late. Monica McNutt helped call the game on ESPN New York, and she's got a special. Oh, look at this. The birthday boy is with you.
So,
happy birthday to you.
You can't hear them. You don't want to hear them. Don't worry.
I'm trying to
really
sing
quickly,
to him.
Clyde, before we let you go, enjoy the rest of your birthday. You feel the love today?
I did, Monica. It's overwhelming. That's why it keeps me humble. The love and affection people show me throughout the city. The greatest city in the world, man. They treat me so magnificently. But, I want to give back. I can see clearly now, being 80 years of age, I know what I want to do, and it's going to be trying to help other people because so many people have helped me.
Well, Clyde, you have already helped so many people. I'm sure that will continue in whatever way you see fit. Now I'm going to tell them to leave you alone so you can enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Well, Monica, wait a second. Don't let him go.
Come on.
No. This is very important.
Okay, Alan is saying something. Remember, I only have the one earpiece, but go ahead.
That's why you're going to have to relay this.
Okay.
Clyde has to know he can't leave until he gets this jacket back. Because if I go home with it, it's not ever coming
Alan
back.
said you can't leave until you get your jacket back. Because if he goes home with it, you won't get it back. We'll make sure that he gets the jacket. Betsy's here.
He pulled it off tonight. A+, Alan. You got the A+.
I love you, Clyde.
Thanks, Clyde. Oh, man, guys, what a terrific night celebrating 80 years. Oh, we should all be so lucky to get to 80 and look that good. But anyway, Peter, what's up? What are we talking about? Basketball?
Yeah, what'd you think?
Okay.
How about the Wings on offense? We have that name Wingstop for OG and Bridges on defense.
Yeah, man.
But how about them on offense?
Hot Wings.
There you go, Hot Wings.
Ooh, hot wings. Can you stand the fire? So efficient. I loved it. I think it looks seamless. And I know I've told this story multiple times in our broadcast, you guys, but I keep going back to that early season game in Detroit. Jalen Brunson, after shoot-around, the question was, when is Mikal Bridges playing his best basketball? And without missing a beat, he said, when he doesn't have to think. And to me, both Bridges and Anunoby right now are playing such beautiful, cerebral, instinctual basketball on both sides of the floor that it's really a sight to behold. And they certainly have represented twin engines so far for this Knicks team in the last 10 games or so.
That's such a perfect way to put it, right? It's the idea that they are just playing on instinct, instinctual basketball, constant motion. OG has told us it's about him just staying aggressive and being aggressive. There's a third element to this, though, I wanted to bring up, Monica, and that's Josh Hart.
Yeah.
You can't forget also, like, though he didn't have a triple-double, he came close again. I also felt like his contributions in the second half, defensively, energy-wise, it's another game where he realized that someone's got to raise the level in this building, and I'm going to be the guy to do it. He came up with some big steals, rebounds, and assists in that second half.
Yeah, there was the half-court shot by Bridges that had this place wake up a little bit. Then there was like that lull in the third quarter. Then the second part of the third quarter, I think you're exactly right. You start to see Josh Hart come alive a bit. And then in the fourth quarter, this team really turns on their defense. I mean, holding these guys to 35 points in the second half is no small feat, and that's a total team effort. But again, I had the chance to sit down with Josh Hart. I can't wait for y'all to see our final episode of Game Ready. But he has talked so much about just serving this team and being willing to do whatever it is that this team needs, whether that's scoring, rebounding, energy, assists. And we know that he's capable of stuffing the stat sheet for sure.
All right, Monica, great stuff as always. We'll talk to you on Tuesday night when the Knicks play host to Philadelphia.